So I took advantage of the Black Friday sale that IMA was having and picked up 2 Martini Henrys from them, a Mark IV. I anticipate this is going to have a lot of popcorn, but we'll see. Usually they put a lot of it in there. See a lot of it once I get that cap off of it. Look pretty well wrapped. So I'm going to take care of all this mountain of popcorn first before I move on to the rifles. So I took care of all the popcorn, got the box set aside, and here are the 2 rifles wrapped. You can see on top a little bit is the long lever, the Mark IV pattern B, and on the bottom is the 1870s stated Mark II, the short lever. So go ahead and start with the long lever. So you want to be careful cutting these open. I like to try to find where the tape is. So you gently cut the tape. Don't want to scratch the wood or the metal of the rifle. I want to be careful with that one, it's too close to the metal. I appreciate how they wrap the muzzle and extra padding there. Let's take a look at this. Starting with the buttstock, it looks pretty good. Don't see any damage to it. Can already see some markings. Looks like some damage here. Looks like it's a pretty good ding right here that went right through this stamp in the stock right here, but not deep, just surface. You can see some markings in the stock. The cup looks like it's in pretty good shape. A lot of times that area is rotted out. See, it's got a pretty good marking there, 1887. Able to see that a little more clearly when I clean it up. Moving down the rifle, looks like some damage here in the stock from the little hook here that hooks into the receiver. It's pretty common. You get a lot of damage right around here from the metal. Looks like the rear sight's a little bent. But overall, the stock looks pretty sound. There's the muzzle there with that ramp sight, and it has a cleaning rod. A real slight ding there. Let's go ahead and flip it over. Other side looks pretty good. the stock there. This should be a pretty easy fix. I'll have to clean it up, but should be able to clean that out and reattach it so it's nice and flush against the stock. So it all looks pretty good, and the only thing that I have to fix here is this rear sight. But looks pretty good. So I never open the lever until I'm done cleaning it. There's a lot of gunk and stuff in there, and you don't want to open this until you clean it out because you don't want to risk breaking the spring that's in there. If you break that spring, it's like a $40, $50 spring, so you really don't want to do that. So I always hold off on testing this out until I've finished cleaning it. So just a warning to not break that spring by trying this lever out before you clean it out. But overall, it looks like it's pretty good so far. I'll go ahead and take a look at the Mark II next. All right, so looking at the Mark II, it's also pretty well wrapped. Have that nice padding there on the muzzle. And not only does it protect the rifle, but it probably protects it from bashing through the box on shipping. So we'll carefully unwrap this one as well and see what we got. Alright, so looking at the Mark II, appears that it is cocked. Starting with the buttstock. Butt plate looks good. Looks like some kind of major stock repair was done on this. Pretty much the whole rear of this buttstock. See this line here, and then there's this big piece of wood here as well. I imagine that based on where this crack is, it'll make taking this screw out pretty easily, but I guess we'll see. Don't really see any markings yet. And there's the split wrist. Doesn't appear like there's a lot of rot in there. Might be able to just clean it out and clamp it shut, but we'll see. Looks like this is a Infield 1872, so fairly early production date. See, there's a crack there in the stock where the pin goes. Rear sight was flipped back. Flip that forward. So far the wood looks pretty good on the forestock. I don't see any major pits so far, but I'll know more when I take the forestock off. It looks like it has a Mark IV style cleaning rod. Looks like the pin here, pretty worn out. It's not retaining this anymore. So I'll probably have to replace that. Unless I can tighten that down tight enough to stay. Only issue is when I shoot it, it'll probably just keep drifting. So looks like the cups got some pretty good damage there. Let's go ahead and flip it over. So it looks like this buttstock was completely replaced on the rear side here. This is basically two pieces that were attached. It's kind of an interesting stock repair. This is a pretty good chunk taken out. Looks like the cup is not only missing, but this whole area is rotted out. And then it looks like that crack goes on the other side as well, where the stock bolt is. A lot of times those stock bolts will rust and expand. Receiver looks pretty good on this side. Don't see any damage on this side for the pin. Overall, the forestock looks pretty good on this side. Looking on the other side, there's more of that piece of wood there. And it looks like the screw here broke in half. And that's why this isn't staying on. This is actually not screwed together, so that would explain that. Pin's probably fine, that just needs to be replaced. I know I have a spare screw for this, but the band itself, they're really hard to find, so I'll probably end up having to remove the screw from the band and then replace the screw. So overall, the Mark IV is in considerably better shape than the Mark II, which is expected. The Mark IV has had a very short service life, even in the colonial theaters. And the Mark II is pretty good overall. Really the only issue is the buttstock is in need of some repairs. So hopefully I'll be able to clean it out and be able to clamp these in order to repair them. I do have some extra buttstocks laying around that if I need to repair this, I can always cut out a piece of wood for that. I'll go ahead and take these apart, clean them up, and I'll do some separate videos on them as I go through that process. I'll probably tackle the Mark IV first, since that one's probably a bit more of a straightforward project before moving on to the Mark II. If you'd like to see those videos, feel free to subscribe and get some notifications when they come out. Thank you for watching.